What's up guys, Tim Little. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today's video, got a day out on the water. It is blazing hot, around 95 with a heat index of like 102, 103. But we're gonna go see if we can find some fish offshore. We're gonna throw some spoons, some big cranks, some underspins, all sorts of stuff. Should be a good one. Let's go. Summertime fishing can be so much fun out on the water. You gotta wear the proper gear, make sure you drink lots of water, stay hydrated. But today we're dealing with water temps in the high 80s, low 90s. Right now we're starting out at 88.9. So really warm water. A lot of times these fish are gonna drop down in that water column, and that's where we can get them down there on those big mag crankbaits, the flutter spoons, the swim baits, that sort of stuff. But we're gonna run around the lake. Haven't been here in, actually haven't fished on the home pond now for probably, I don't know, a month and a half or so. Lots of traveling, but we're gonna go see if we can find a few fish and stick them. So let's go. That's never a good sign on a river system. Zero current. Old stroll shad. Thanks, dude. Guys, we're dealing with super hot conditions and no current. Like to make it hard on myself, I guess, but got one to eat. Keep trying to track down a school. Yeah. Wrong species. Hey. Nice one. Gonna have to go with that minnow again. Just dead, slick, calm conditions, bluebird skies, no current. I'm throwing the spoon, the hair jig, the A-rig, the blade bait, the underspin. Sometimes you just gotta go with the finessey minnow. Nice one on the spoon. Got him with that stinger hook. Thanks, dude. All right, guys, so I'm sitting here retying here by the spillway. Made a long run down. Just not a lot going on up late, so I wanted to come chase some current. I saw that they're pulling a little bit here at the dam, and a lot of times when they're pulling current, it'll position these fish along the points closest to the dam or on the face of the dam. And so a flutter spoon, an underspin, a swim bait, even a topwater can work extremely well. But I caught that one really nice one on the flutter spoon, and a couple casts later ended up getting hung up and breaking off. So just retied. Actually went with a little tail spin too. These fish, they'll position right up against the face, the wall, that concrete of the dam. So anything you can fish vertically along it works extremely well. All right, guys, a little midday update. We are taking shelter in a marina. There's a lightning and big old cell right just about a mile north of me. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but just over there, it's a wall of lightning. And so I figured I'd spend 15 or 20 minutes sitting in here. And I don't care about getting wet, but I do care about getting struck by lightning. Got a handful of fish, 3 nice largemouth, but I've had plenty of these days, right? And it seems like when the sun starts to go down, evening time, the fish just start kind of getting more and more active for whatever reason. You know, they kick on the current on the river, and that gets things generated and going, and just kind of gets those bait fish moving and gets those schools fired up. So had a lot of times where the last couple hours have saved my day. But yeah, that flutter spoon trick, guys, having that stinger hook on the front, that was the only reason that I caught that nice fish. Had that stinger hook. That's a BKK. I'll link it down below in the video description, but that thing is it's a nasty hook. It's super sharp. The bend on it is extra wide, and it's just a meaty hook. So once that fish got stuck in the mouth on that little stinger hook, it wasn't coming off. But again, didn't even have the whole bait in its mouth, it just had the stinger hook. So if you're throwing a flutter spoon, or a spoon for that matter, adding that little stinger hook up front can be the difference of catching a fish or losing the fish. So wind's picking up. Again, it's just kind of swirling right here. It is going away from me, but I have to run that way to get to the next spot. So gonna pack everything up that's not waterproof, put the waterproof side on the cameras, and we'll make a run. But again, haven't been out in over a month. The fish are schooled up. I'm finding them on offshore, hard, like shell beds, humps, current breaks, but they're just really lethargic. They're just not active. And again, it's just kind of is what it is. If you guys have ever fished a river system or a current driven fishery, when that current's not going, it's you got to work really hard finessing them to get those bites. So all right, enough talking. I'm gonna pack everything up and make this run, and we'll see you on the other side. No good. All right, so I thought I was good. Made a run about 5 miles up and watched 3 lightning bolts hit within like a half a mile of me. So found another marina. Wind is just swirling, but the southeast in the summertime, sometimes you get some gnarly thunderstorms that pop up out of nowhere. That's where we need to go, that way. We got one on the old Topwater. Thanks, dude. All right, guys, that last one came on that our new megabass color, the Spotlight Shad. That thing is such an awesome little finessey topwater. You know, I'm fishing for highly pressured fish. These fish have seen a lot of topwaters, and being able to come in behind people or throw something a little bit different can get you bites when other baits won't work. But we made it up here to this spot safely. That, guys, right there was 100% reason why I run an FXR 21. It handles big water great. You know, we went from slick calm. I was probably jinxed myself complaining about how slick it was, no wind, no current. Now we got rain coming, but we went to 3 and 4 footers with like 30-mile-an-hour winds. Anytime you mix wind with current and those waves kind of meet, it just makes for a pretty crappy, bumpy ride. But this boat handles it great. And out of nowhere, that storm just popped up. So we have about an hour and a half before we get hammered again with another big cell. It's raining. Like I said, I can handle the rain. It's the lightning I don't want to deal with. But we got about an hour and a half to fill out our limit. But top water, hopefully these fish start coming up and I can put a few more in the boat before we call it quits. You can come on out here. All the fish are on the point.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
They're everywhere now. Yeah, that's a good one.
Got it.
So much fun when they come up to schooling. Do you guys have a topwater?
Yeah, we probably somewhere there. I got one down on.
Let me know if you need to borrow one.
You got a stick bait on?
Yeah, just a walking bait. Thanks, dude. It's really hard if it's a single fish going after a single shad. It's almost impossible to convert them. But if you can lead them, sometimes they'll turn and eat your bait. All right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Sorry I didn't talk a lot towards the end of this video. Just boats around. You know, I lost two and a half hours dodging that storm. 2 different cells came through. Spent a lot of time in the marina. But today was a grind. You know, I was talking about earlier, super hot. Water temps, it's done. But the last night when I pulled trolling motor, water temp was 92.4. You know, almost 93 degrees. Super warm. Not a lot of current, but that cell came through. Sent some waves. You know, I talked about it earlier. That's why I run that 21-foot, the Skeeter FXR. It handles big waves really well. It's a dry run, dry boat. But more importantly, really cool, something happened this evening on the water, and you guys will probably see in some of the footage. I'm talking with the boat next to me. When Matt and I and our families were on a road trip several years ago, before we ever decided to move to East Tennessee, we were here fishing on Chickamauga, and we went into a restaurant, and there was a father and a daughter in there wearing our TacticalBassin clothing. They had sun shirts on. And so Matt and I walked over and said hi, and they looked up and their eyes got about this big and said, "What are you guys doing here?" Well, now fast forward 5 years, that was them on the water. It's the first time I've seen them since then. So they're actually fishing a tournament, so I gave them some space or whatever. But really cool, you know, to see that full circle. You know, the daughters, both the daughters are hammers. They fish tournaments themselves, they win tournaments themselves. So pretty cool to see them out on the water. So I kind of lost focus a little bit. But what we were dealing with was kind of like I talked about earlier in today's video before the storms. I knew these fish like to feed late, right? It's like 7:50. Ooh, big blow up right there every time. It's like 7:50. So as this sun starts going down, these fish get active, chasing big gizzard shad, big threadfin shad. You can catch them on a flutter spoon, you can catch them on an A-rig, you can catch them on top water. And that's kind of what I was doing. You know, I was picking them off with that stroll shad, basically throwing it out there, letting it hit bottom, and then cracking it twice, and then speed, right? It seemed like they really wanted to chase, and I was catching the wrong species doing that. I was catching a lot of white bass doing that, but there was largemouth mixed in. But then they would come up schooling. If you have that topwater rigged and ready, you guys can see, when they come up and they boil on that shad, a lot of times you'll see that shad, you know, jumping and skipping and basically running for its life, swimming for its life. You can see that wake on the surface of that shad running with that big largemouth behind him. It's really hard when it's a single bass chasing a single shad or bait fish, but a lot of times you can see if they're going left or right, and you can lead them with the topwater, and sometimes you can convert them. It's really easy when 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 fish come up at once and they're just dropping bombs, grenades everywhere. You throw right in the middle of that, start walking your topwater, you know, a lot of the time you can hook up. But I had 2 topwaters going today. The first one, you guys know that we love that Giant Dog X, more of that finessey, smaller sized, real kind of subtle rattle. That's that spotlight shad that Matt and I designed, that chrome with that blue and purple back. That thing is an awesome bait fish imitator. And then having those BKKs on there, those things are nasty. That's that same hook I was talking about as a stinger hook on my spoon. But look at that gap. You do not want that in your hand. But when you stick a fish on it, they just don't come off. So I caught fish on that. And then when you have those fish that are the single fish chasing the single bait, having a larger profile, a louder profile, sometimes you can get that fish to pull off of that real shad and chase your bait. And which I had success doing that with that nice largemouth on that guy right there. That is the Jowler by Rapala. Cupped face, spits and throws a lot of water, but it's a lot bigger profile, lot louder bait than that Giant Dog X. So when it was slick and you could, you know, slick, calm, quiet, and you could see those shad waking, I was throwing this guy. And then when I was trying to throw farther and get those fish to turn off the real thing and commit to this, I was throwing this guy. But that's really the science behind the 1-2 punch with the 2 different topwaters. Again, any type of bait fish color. I really like that chrome, spotlight shad. Those all work really well. Caught a lot of fish on the A-rig today, just the wrong species. You know, that mini flex, again, having those lighter wires. Basically, that and the strolling bait. I wasn't even using forward-facing sonar to use that strolling bait. Basically, I was making a long cast, letting it hit bottom. Sometimes on that semi-taut line, you'd feel that doop. You know, they were all white bass today, but even with that A-rig, I'd fired out there, let it hit bottom, pop, and then real twitch. Caught several of the wrong species on that today. Nothing on the hair jig, nothing on the big crank, nothing on the underspin. Caught a couple on the Daracoop, the little blade bait. That's an awesome little bait when they're chasing shad. But yeah, all in all, fun day out on the water, hot day out on the water. I think I drank like 10.5 gallons of water. But again, lost a few couple hours just staying south of that storm. It just moved slowly up the lake and east, and I could see the lightning bolts. I could see it on my phone. I didn't want any part of that cell. So we're gonna go run, put it on the trailer. But a great day out on the water. These fish are just blowing up all over here. They're all white bass, but that school's probably 20 yards wide, just. But anyways, guys, we appreciate it. If you learned something from this video, or you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys on the next video.